Yo, what is going on YouTube? It is your boy GZTV back with another late night NBA talk. We are here Wednesday, April 3rd. Gonna talk about 5 of the NBA games that happened tonight. Obviously, my Celtics took care of business, so yeah, we're not gonna really talk about that. We're not gonna talk about the Grizzlies Bucks game, although that is kind of concerning. Obviously, the Timberwolves put a beating on the Raptors, the Suns put a beating on the Cavs. So, not gonna talk about any of those. So, without further ado, let's get into it. First, with another toilet bowl type of game. These are always really close games, though, and I feel like it is fun to talk about them. We have the Trailblazers and Hornets. Scoot Henderson outduels Brandon Miller. The Trailblazers beat the Hornets by 3 to snap a 10-game losing streak. Yeah, I said it right. The Trailblazers just came off of a 10-game losing streak. Great scoring, great passing from Scoot Henderson throughout this game. Beat Brandon Miller. This is a matchup of 2 of the league's top 3 draft picks, so that's kind of cool. Like, looking forward to seeing what their squads have for next year. Alexei Pokusevski getting some rotational minutes. This is so crazy. We'll get to Malachi Flynn in a second. I've always kind of known who he was, but 50? Yeah, I don't know what is going on with the Bucks. I don't really care to talk about them, but yeah, what is happening? I guess no Dame. But yeah, Pokusevski playing great defense. This was a pretty decent game in terms of a close one, but it was pretty poverty at the end of the day. Brandon Miller was hitting threes. Chris Murray was getting to the lane, hitting tough ones. Same with Jabari Walker, hitting tough shots. Jabari Walker had 14 points, 22 rebounds, shooting 33% from 3. You get 24 points, 16 rebounds for Mr. Dominating, who's been kind of under the radar this year. Sorry if I have some kind of frame glitches. 22 points, 10 assists for Scoot Henderson. One of the best games he's had in his career so far. So, obviously, 21 points from Brandon Miller is all the Hornets got. No one else really stepped up. Obviously, you got to appreciate a guy like Grant Williams for passing the ball around and rebounding at a pretty high level, but the offense just wasn't there for him. I almost want to see a guy like Alexei Pokusevski pick up more minutes, because that's a guy that I don't think is going to have a major breakthrough in the NBA, but in garbage time games like this, give him some more playing time, So, yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Moving on to the Lakers and the Wizards. I don't even know why this game was this close. The Wizards are playing really good recently, but Anthony Davis leads the Lakers to their 8th win in 9 games. He scores 35 points in a 5-point win over the Wizards. Yeah, it probably will be Celtics-Hawks. We're going to have to start looking at the playoff picture a little more down the stretch, but so far the only 10 teams that are locked in on any side of the bracket are the East, and those teams could tweak around. We have 2 play-in teams guaranteed. We have a playoff team guaranteed. Everyone else can move around. But Anthony Davis, really good first quarter to start the game, really good scoring night, really good rebounding night, of course. If we have to play the Hawks in the first round, that might be kind of stressful. I don't want to play them or the Heat. That's not ideal. But the Lakers win 8-1 in the last 9 games. Anthony Davis, really good game. LeBron hit some pretty wild layups in timely fashion. Getting past defense, hitting tough shots. Same with Anthony Davis, just playing really tough out there. And yeah, obviously you look at the box score and you're like, well, they only beat the Wizards by 5, but the Wizards have been on a really good stretch recently. But yeah, Anthony Davis, 35 points, 18 rebounds, monstrous performance, 25 points for LeBron while shooting 50%. So those two continue to kind of give off a 1-2 punch. Kyle Kuzma put up 17 points, 12 rebounds while shooting 40% from 3. You get 29 points for Jordan Poole. Not a great game from Deni Avdija. He's had a solid season so far, and he's shooting really well from the 3-point, but I don't know. I guess they definitely have guys off the bench that could help out. They just picked up, I think James Champagnie is his name. They just picked up Justin Champagnie from the Spurs, so you never know. He could give some help to them. But, I don't know. Deni Avdija, kind of an off night for him. Getting into the game, we're kind of here to talk about Pistons and Hawks. My goodness, this was a wild game, and not a matchup that I expected to even be a wild game. Jalen Johnson has 28 points and 14 rebounds. The Hawks clinch a play-in berth with an 8-point win over the Pistons. So shout out to the Hawks, who are at least going to get a chance in the play-in this year. But yeah, great all around. This is the first career triple-double for Jalen Johnson. We will talk about the elephant in the room in a second. Great scoring, great rebounding, great passing, just doing everything for this Hawks team. And what a surprising season. What a surprising type of player we see out of Jalen Johnson. This is a guy that went from sitting the bench and like getting 7th or 8th man minutes to possibly being a third option on this team, maybe second if they get rid of someone in the offseason. He's great, and obviously 50 freaking points for Malachi Flynn. I mean, that's a guy, and he's still a bench player on any team he's on, but he went from a bench player on the Raptors to a bench player on a worse team, but putting up 50 points. People just don't understand the magnitude of that. Like, yeah, that is insane. Fucking off the bench? Like, when is the last time someone scored 50 off the bench? I know, like, Jamal Crawford, I think, has done it. I think Lou Williams might have done that before. When is the last time that has happened? I don't know. Jalen Johnson, though, getting to the rim. This was a really entertaining game. I'm kind of mad I didn't watch more of it. Yeah. In transition, Malachi Flynn getting to his spots. He was amazing this game. It's obviously prime Malachi Flynn. I don't think he'll ever have a game like this again. Chimezie Metu is dishing the rock around. But 50 freaking points, and not only that, the dude shot about 72% overall. Like, are you kidding me? 18 for 25, over 50% from 3. This guy had a damn night. Oh my goodness. Actually wild. Obviously the Pistons are pretty garbage though. Like a guy like Troy Brown Jr. or whatever. I just don't know, man. They don't really have that many options on that team. They're pretty much a lost cause. We've been knowing this all season. Hawks played really good though. 26 points for DeAndre Hunter, shooting 50% from 3, and obviously 28 points, 11 assists, 14 rebounds for Jalen Johnson, shooting 50% from 3 as well. You get 11 points, 16 rebounds for Clint Capella. You get 24 points, 11 assists for DeJounte Murray. So, I mean, their starting five was going strong in this game. So shout out to the Hawks for clinching that play-in and not really making it a sweat between them and Brooklyn, because for a little while it seemed that way. But yeah, we got 2 more games to talk about. The first one is going to be the Pacers and the Nets. I'm not sure how the Nets pulled this off, but the Nets beat the Pacers by 4. At this point it was kind of sabotage, but yeah, they were still eliminated from postseason contention again. The top 10 teams in the East are going to stay that way and kind of interchange as we get to the rest of the season. Great scoring night for Cam Thomas, and obviously Noah Clowney had one of his best games of his career. Great rebounding as well. I think he played for Georgia. Claxton did, right? Or no, Clowney. No, he played for Bama. That's right. I'm mixing him up with Claxton. I think Claxton did go. But great game. Outlast him, split a home and home set with them. Obviously, Nick Claxton, big-time defender for the Nets. Pretty good game here. Isaiah Jackson was playing some defense for the Pacers. Yeah, Noah Clowney was great. I think he's got a lot of potential. I think he's a guy, defensively and offensively, we could see improve next year and honestly have a breakout in the next 2 or 3 seasons. I think I have some pretty solid praise for him. Tyrese Halliburton was hitting some shots. But yeah, obviously for the Pacers, it was just their 2 star players. 26 points for Siakam, 24 points for Halliburton. Not really much from everyone else. Not great performances for guys like Jalen Smith and Aaron Nembhard. I feel like they could have definitely picked it up a little bit, especially Jalen Smith. Nembhard played somewhat efficient with the shots he was getting, but I don't know. Obviously, they have guys like TJ McConnell. They have guys like Ben Shepherd. They have guys like Obi Toppin coming off the bench that can kind of help. And I don't know how Obi Toppin isn't starting. I guess they like the size. And Jalen Smith was pretty much the acting center tonight without Miles Turner. But yeah, that was a really interesting situation. But looking at the Brooklyn Nets, you get 14 points, 13 rebounds for Nick Claxton, shooting 70%. He's almost reminded me of like a Rudy Gobert type of player with a bit of a mid-range shot. You get 12 points, 11 assists out of Dennis Schroeder, shooting 33% from 3. You get 27 points for Cam Thomas. You get 22 points, 10 rebounds. Great, efficient game for Noah Clowney off the bench, shooting 75% from 3. He played wonderful. Probably the best game of his career so far. So really dope to see a young guy kind of figure out his way on a team. It's hard to make it in the NBA, let alone like find a role on a team. As we get into the final game I want to talk about of the night, and that is the Magic and the Pelicans. What drama This was fucking crazy. But Paolo Banchero's 32 points lifts the Magic over the Pelicans. Zion Williamson does injure his finger there. I hope he's okay. I'm sure he'll be fine for the playoffs. The physical swarming play of Paolo Banchero in the Orlando Magic so frustrated New Orleans that 3 Pelicans players were ejected in the game's final seconds. That was a wild turn of events there. I did not expect that. But obviously Dyson Daniels was playing good defense, playing good offense as well. I mean, they lost, but you got to credit him. He was being really well, playing really well on both sides of the ball. CJ McCollum dishing the rock around. Obviously, Franz Wagner was getting his buckets. Paolo Banchero was just so tough, so physical. You know, that 6'10", 250 frame is just unstoppable. He's literally like a taller LeBron right now. Dude put up 32. He shot 33% from 3. Great game for Franz Wagner as well, putting up 24, shooting 50% from 3. He get 14 points, 11 rebounds from Wendell Carter Jr. as well. Shout out to him. Very efficient minutes out there, shooting 75% from 3. This is just a tough Magic team, and you kind of look at them on paper and you're like, how does this team have 45 wins and possibly on pace to be a 50-win team this year? Well, look at their games. They play amazing together, so they've really formed a bond. Obviously, CJ was really all there was out there for the Pelicans, putting up 36 points, 10 rebounds. Not a great game for Herb Jones. Like, he played the most minutes on the team with CJ and couldn't really be efficient doing that. I would have almost liked to see a guy like Najee Marshall get some minutes over him. I don't know. Obviously, you know, Herb Jones is a really good defender, but yeah, looking at tomorrow real quickly, really good games tomorrow. Sixers Heat, shout out to Chippy in the chat. Kings Knicks, Warriors Rockets, Nuggets Clippers. Those are 4 really good games, so if any of them are close, I'm going to cover them on the channel. But I gotta go, guys. Gonna finish this Rosemary's Baby movie and then